Alright class, we were discussing the topic vectors. In last class we had done till the question number 16 and now we will start with 17. As on your screen you can see the question. It says PQRS is a parallelogram. O is the point of intersection of the diagonals. You can see that point. Simplify PQ plus PS. Now first I'll give you the time of 30 seconds to find out the value of PQ plus PS and your time starts. The first thing what we know about parallelogram is that opposite sides are parallel and equal, right? That means instead of PS I can say that it's PQ plus QR, right? Because PS and QR are equal. So the answer is PR. That is your first answer. For next question it says RO minus QO. You cannot subtract or you cannot add. Why we cannot add? Because these two letters are not same. Why we cannot subtract? Because this one and this one is not same, right? So first thing, I will use the negative vector of QO. So I can say that RO, the negative vector of QO, it will be OQ and the sign will change, so it's positive now. Now RO plus OQ, it's RQ. Third part, PR minus SR plus SQ. Now first you need to do it by yourself. You have 30 seconds. So first thing, I am going to use the negative vector of SR. It will be PR plus RS plus SQ. Now PR plus RS, we can add them. It will be PS plus SQ and the answer will be PQ. Right, so we have done the first three parts. For part B, if PQ is A and PS is B, find in terms of A and or B. Before solving any question, what I will do first and what I expect you to do first whenever you see the question like this, if PQ is A, that means SR is also A. If PS is B, that means QR is also B, right? So you need to highlight these dimensions as I did on the diagram. Now we will start with SR. So it's B part 1 SR. So SR is A. For second part PR. Now you need to do it first by yourself and then I will explain. You need to find the vector PR in terms of A and B. You have 30 seconds. Start. So the concept is same. I need to go from P to R, but I cannot move directly. So first I will go from P to Q. That means I traveled A. And then from Q to R, that means B. The vector PR is A plus B. Right? For part 3, SQ. Do it by yourself first and then I will explain. 30 seconds. So the question SQ means that I need to start from S and I need to reach at Q, but I cannot go directly. So it's up to me, either I start from S to P and then from P to Q, or I go from S to R and then from R to Q. Answer will be same. So I will opt from S to R and then R to Q. First I will write the path that I identified. I say first I will travel from S to R and then from R to Q. Ultimately I will reach from S to Q. SR it's A plus RQ. Now the value of RQ means that we need to move downwards, so it's a negative vector of B. That means it's negative B is equals to SQ. The final answer is A minus B is equals to the vector SQ, right? So you will see such type of questions approximately uh, 85 to 90%. You will see such type of question in past papers, right? They come in the same format, and each mark has a weightage of 1 marks. So your concept regarding the path identification must be clear, that what is your starting point and what is your ending point and which path you need to consider. The selection of path depends on the given values, right? Now after that we will start the new exercise. It's 7C. On 7C, the first thing that we will study, and the very important thing, is the concept of parallel vectors. We all know the meaning of parallel, and we say that if there are two lines, they are parallel, that means they will never meet at any point, but they always stay together. Together by means they will stay parallel but never meet at a point. Now in terms of parallel vectors, there is a hidden word that is scalar multiple. Now what does it mean? Now let's say I give you a vector A and its value is 12 and 8, right? Similarly, I give you a vector B and its value is 3 and 2. Can you build any relationship between A and B? Now, if I take 4 common here, so inside the bracket it will be 3 and 2, right? Or you can say that 3 or 2 is equals to B, so I can say that A is equals to 4 times B, right? Now that is what I meant by scalar multiple, right? That means when you multiply your vector by a constant and your original vector appears, that means the both vectors are parallel. And scalar multiple means multiplying your vector by a constant, right? So A is equals to 4B, it means that A and B are parallel vectors. A and B are parallel vectors. Alright? So for parallel vectors, the condition is what? They must be scalar multiple of one another. Note it down in your copies first, and then I will start from the book. Done? Alright. So it's exercise 7C and question number 1. The question says, identify, state which of the following pairs are parallel. Right? You need to identify the parallel vectors. I hope that you have noted all the things in your copy. It's question number 1, which says, state which of the following pairs of vectors are parallel. I will start with part B, and A and C part you will do on your own. It says 9, 7 and 18, 21. Now these are two vectors. We need to identify if they are scalar multiple or not. So 9, 7 remains as it is. If I take 3 common from this vector, it will be 6 and 7. But 6 and 7 and 9 and 7 are not same. We say that not parallel vectors. They are not parallel. Now you will start with part A. It's minus 2, 1, minus 8, 4. You have 10 to 15 seconds to start. Alright. So they are parallel. How? When you take 4 common, so inside it will be minus 2 and 1, that is exactly equal of this vector. So they are parallel vectors. Part C. 6 minus 8 comma minus 3 4. You have 15 seconds to start. Done? Alright. So if I take common minus 2, so 6 will be minus 3 and 8 will be 4. Right? Minus 2 is a scalar multiple. That means they are parallel vectors. So that is the concept of parallel vectors. Right? In question number 2, it says write down two vectors write down two vectors that are parallel to each of the following vectors. One in the same direction and one in opposite direction. Now the first part is 8 and minus 7, right? If I need to write down the vector that is parallel to it, so I can say that 16 and minus 14, right? That is a vector that is parallel to 8 and minus 7. But it will be in the same direction because the signs are same. The first one is positive and the next one is negative, right? But if I need to write the vector, a parallel vector of 8 and minus 7, so I can use that minus 16 or 14. That will be same parallel, but it will be in opposite direction. Alright, did you get it? So you need to identify two vectors, one in the same direction and one in the opposite direction. For the next part, we have 3 and 9. So the first vector of 3 and 9, it will be what? It will be 1, 3. If you multiply it by 3, it will be 3 and 9, right? Or if you confuse, so you can take any vector that is a multiple. Let's suppose we say that 6 or 18, that is a parallel vector, and minus 6 minus 18, that is another parallel vector but in the opposite direction. Alright, I hope that your concept is clear regarding the parallel vector. So moving on to the next part, next question, in fact it's question number 3. question says if P is 5 and 2, Q is 6 and minus 3, and R is minus 3 minus 4. Find a single column vector to represent the following. Now for the first part, you need to find out P plus 2Q. At first you need to try it by yourself, and I see what you do in the first part. You have approximately 50 seconds to start. It will be P plus 2Q. The vector P is 5 and 2 plus. The vector 2Q will be each element multiplied with 2, so it's 12 and negative 6. So 5 plus 12, it's 17, and 2 minus 6, it's negative 4. That is P plus 2Q. Similarly, for next part, you need to find 3P minus 1 upon 2Q. You have a minute to solve the question and your time starts now. First, you need to multiply your P vector with 3. So it will be 15 and 6 minus. Q upon 2 means both of the values divided by 2. 6 divided by 2, it's 3, and 3 divided by 2, so I will use 3 divided by 2 as it is. So 15 minus 3, it's 12. And for the second row, it will be 6 minus minus plus 3 divided by 2. Now 3 upon 2 is basically 1.5, right? So I am using 1.5 here. That gives me the value of 12, and 6 plus 1.5, it's 7.5. That is your answer. Alright, moving on to the next part C. It says 4P minus 3Q plus R. You have 1 minute. Sorry, again, you have 1 minute, so start. What you need to do first, you need to multiply your P with 4. So it will be 4 times 5 is 20, and 4 2s are 8 minus 3 multiplied with Q, 3 6 are 18, and 3 times minus 3 is minus 9. Never ever take the negative sign inside the matrix, inside the vector. It will increase the chance of error, so try to avoid it. Plus R is negative 3 and negative 4. Now you can add them easily. So it will be 20 minus 18 minus 3, and it's 8 plus 9 minus 4 gives you the value of 20 minus 18 is 2, and 2 minus 3 is minus 1. 8 minus 4 is 4, and 4 plus 9 is 30. So that is your answer, right? I hope that easy question it was, and there should not be any confusion in solving such type of questions. Now after this parallel vector concept, we have a new concept of position vector. Now let's suppose on the grid I say that it's point A 5, 3, right? So its coordinate 5, 3, basically they are with respect to origin, right? From the origin, I'm saying that on the x-axis I move 5 steps, and on the y-axis I move 3 steps to reach the point A. If I draw a vector here, that vector is represented by OA, and its coordinates are 5 and 3. So basically that is the concept of position vector. It says that by default all of your vectors are positioned from the origin, right? If a vector, let's suppose its coordinate are 10 and 12, and I say that it's a B, right? It's coordinate B. In terms of vector, I will say that it's vector OB and the coordinates are 10, 12, right? Basically, If I place C and I say minus 5 comma minus 4, so C is a point on the graph. But if you need to find out the vector, you will say that its position is from the origin and the vector is OC. Right? So that is the concept of position vector. All the vectors are by default positioned from the origin. It gives a vector a certain position, or you can say the starting point of the vector. Right? The same concept you need to apply in question number 4. It says write down the position vector of the following. For first part is A, coordinates are 4 and 7. I need to write down the position vector, so I will say that it's OA and the position is 4 and 7. That is the position vector. So after part A, you need to do part B, which says B minus 2 comma 5, C 6 comma minus 1, and D minus 4 comma minus 9. Write down all the position vectors now. Done. So it will be OB, the coordinates or the points are minus 2, 5. It will be OC, points are 6, minus 1. And it will be OD, points are minus 4, minus 1. So now you are giving the position, right? D is just a random point, but OD means the starting point O and the ending point is D. So we have a direction in this case. Alright class, moving on to the next question. Hopefully the last question of today class. It says if P, Q and R are the points (3 minus 2), 2 minus 4 and 2, 3. Express the following as column vector. You need to find out the column vector of P, Q. Now how you find the column vector, I will explain the first part and then you will start your working. Basically, we have the value of OP, right? And the value of OP we have is 3 minus 2. Similarly, the value of OQ we have is 2 minus 4. If I write the equation, so I can say that OP plus PQ, since both the alphabets are same, the resultant will be OQ. That is the equation that I have made with the concept of vector addition alphabetically. We need to find out the value of PQ. So making PQ the subject, it will be OQ minus OP. The column vector of OQ is 2 and negative 4. The column vector of OP is 3 and minus 2. Gives you the value of 2 minus 3 minus 1 and minus 4 plus 2. It's minus 2. So that is the column vector of PQ. For the second part, it says write down the column vector of QR. Keeping in mind that you have the value of OQ and OR, what equation you will make? First, write down the equation and then start solving. You have 40 seconds to solve this question and start. Plus QR is equals to OR, right? The value of OQ is known, the value of OR is known. That means you can easily find out the value of QR. So start finding the value of QR is equals to the value of OR. It's 2 and 3. minus the value of OQ is 2 and negative 4. When you solve them, 2 minus 2 it's 0 and 3 plus 4 it's 7. So that is the value of QR. I hope that all of you get the same answer. Moving on to the next part, find out the column vector of RP, because the equation is very important. So your equation will be OR plus RP is equals to OP. OR and OP are known. We need to find the value of RP. So you need to subtract OP minus OR, right? OP is 3 minus 2 and OR is 2 and 3. So 3 minus 2 1 and minus 2 minus 3 gives you the value of minus 5, right? So far so good. Any problem? No? Then moving towards the last question of today class. Find out the vector of, I'm just writing here so you can easily watch the coordinates. Find out PR. Start. First write the equation. It will be OP plus PR is equals to OR. If you made the right equation, then congratulations, you have the idea now how you solve the question. So PR is equals to OR minus OP, OR 2 and 3, OP 3 and minus 2, 2 minus 3 and 3 plus 2, 5. That is the position vector of PR. Alright class? So I think that it is quite enough for today class. You have the idea of position vector and you have the idea of parallel vectors now. The parallel vectors, those vectors which are scalar multiple, and the position vector in which we finalize the position and the starting point is always origin. So inshallah in next class we are going to continue the exercise 7C. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.